Boom, we're live. Stu and the Arcane Bear. We've got a wonderful guest for you today. This is Tommy from Energi.World. Tommy, how you doing today?
Good. Good to be here.
Nice. Thank you for joining us. So right off the bat, let's get your overall preface of what energy is and the problems that you guys are trying to solve.
Okay, so I'm not sure how familiar your audience is with cryptocurrency. I know obviously to some degree, but obviously cryptocurrency is an innovative technology, very powerful new technology. A lot of people are aware of that. But there's a lot of shortcomings in Bitcoin and a lot of the other cryptocurrencies as well. I've been in the cryptocurrency space for actively about 5 years. I've studied it extensively, and I have a YouTube channel of my own, TommyWorldPower. I'm on YouTube and Twitter, and I've also educated a lot of people on cryptocurrency. And I'm successful investor and all that stuff in the space. So I really don't have to do anything. I guess I'll preface with that. But what I saw was essentially a huge gap in cryptocurrency. There's, I guess to explain it, for those of you guys, I'm sure you know Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a system of mining in place, and that's how Bitcoin secures their network. And Bitcoin spends about $5 billion a year right now on mining. So this is a ton of money to spend on mining. And you see these massive companies like Bitmain, they're now multi-billion-dollar companies. They're having an IPO soon because they're making all that money off this. So the problem with that system is there's no incentive, there's no money to pay developers. So although Bitcoin, the network spends $5 billion a year on mining, there is no money to pay developers. And so Dash is another cryptocurrency. They forked Bitcoin, and they created a treasury system. And in their treasury system, they take 10% of the mining reward, and rather than give it to all to miners, they're giving 10% to a treasury. That's allowing them to pay for things like development, marketing, operations, customer service, so on and so forth. And I saw this last summer, and Dash's treasury grew to generating over $1 million a month. And basically, I just saw some massive inefficiencies and room for improvement in that. And so what Energy does is kind of take that concept that Dash has and build and improve it pretty heavily. So that's basically what Energy is. We're a self-funding cryptocurrency. And this has a lot of implications I may tell you guys about here, but it's a very, very powerful thing when you have a self-funding cryptocurrency. It functions more like an organization or more like a self-funding government rather than just a cryptocurrency. And that's kind of what I see in a general nutshell. Yeah, feel free to ask.
So you guys are basically a hard fork of Dash's proof of work system. So you guys include mining as well. You're using the similar treasury system, which is used to obviously incentivize those who either wish to build, develop, market, advertise any of the other communities building protocols that should go along with some of this stuff, and then help increase the organic growth pace. I guess what you could do is tell us a little bit about what that looks like. People can actually mine energy tokens the same way that they could Bitcoin, correct? What kind of mining software would they need? Like, can I do this on my own machine?
We forked Ethereum for our mining algorithm. So it's Dagger Hashimoto. So it's ASic resistant. It's why we went that way. It's not ASic proof completely, as Ethereum is starting to get ASICs, but it's pretty strongly ASic resistant. So 10% of our allocation goes to miners, on contrast to Bitcoin, which gives 100% to miners. But the major ways we differentiate ourselves from, say, Dash is Dash only gives 10% to their treasury. We give 40%, so 4 times more. And even more importantly than that, it's not just how much you're giving to the treasury, it's that it's utilized intelligently, the best possible way, and to really understand the potential of this. And so that's what I was seeing with Dash that kind of made me realize I need to fork it. Is I just didn't see the kind of the business mind in terms of marketing and stuff, the leadership behind it that needs to be there for the treasury in order to guide it. It's a very powerful seed that they had, but they didn't capitalize. And so, it took me a year to develop this and create it, but I have now, and it's quite powerful. I mean, the future I see of this is, let's say Bitcoin, for instance, they're giving $5 billion a year to miners. if they had the same type of system that we had, where they're giving 40% of their treasury, they would have $2 billion a year to spend. I have to reiterate that. Bitcoin would have $2 billion a year to spend on their developers, on marketing, on customer service, on lobbyists. I mean, you name it. And that's a pretty powerful force. But unfortunately, that wasn't in Bitcoin, and that's okay. Bitcoin is a first generation protocol. You can't expect it to have all the bells and whistles. It was very innovative for what it did. But that's the future of cryptocurrency. You have to ask yourself, how many people can you hire? What can you do with $2 billion a year? You can hire tens of thousands of people. You can start to change the world. That's the future of cryptocurrency I see. I don't see these small organizations with 20-man teams, that the vast majority of the cryptocurrency spaces right now. I see multi-thousand people organizations, multi-tens of thousands of people organizations that are self-funding and self-sovereign. And this just didn't exist effectively in the space. There's a couple protocols that do something similar. Most don't have the allocation of treasury that we have. And more importantly, most don't have the vision that I have. And so, that's what I've created, what I've started. We have a very strong team. At this point, it's beautifully coming here. The worst part is we were just born in the bear market. We were born in April, and the market's been like just straight down since then. So it hasn't been conducive to letting us have a strong treasury, but it's just a matter of time until people become aware of us. And we will lead that treasury to the highest possible value that we can spend every dollar to yield the greatest result, whether that's development or marketing activities or you name it. That's how I approach energy and what we're doing.
So obviously there's a lot of competition in this niche. Can you tell us a little bit about that, the team, the people that work with you guys and their background?
Yeah, so myself, I alone am a cryptocurrency influencer. I understand the space very well. So I'd say, not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good to have there, I suppose. We've got Ryan. Ryan is originally brought him on as a developer, but he was extremely sharp, became lead developer, and he's functioning as president for us. He's an incredibly sharp developer, very smart guy. And the vibes we have in our organization are just really smart and good people. We have a join our team page where I talk about the qualities I like in people, but high morals, really high morals. I'm into yoga and meditation, and so I feel the vibes from the people I work with, and so we have a very kind of calm, intelligent team. David is our VP of marketing, and this guy is incredibly smart. I'm blessed to have him. He graduated college at the age of 18, and I mean, how many people do you know have done that? I don't know anyone else who's
No,
done that.
I dropped out about a few years before that, but that's as good as it gets.
Yeah, he speaks 5 languages. I mean, the guy's an all-star. Super blessed to have him. He was a VP from Citibank, and we brought him into Energy. Carolyn is our VP of operations. Again, worked in other big banks, super smart. Just a lot of incredible talent. I'm blessed as an influencer because as I've told my community that I'm creating Energy, a lot of people just kind of appeared and they came to me interested. So we've attracted a lot of really good talent, and we're very transparent. You can go to our team page. A lot of projects, you don't know who exactly is working in it. It's like, aliases, and you don't even really know who they are. I mean, if you go to our team page on our website, you can see our bios, and a lot of us are on LinkedIn. So we want to create that confidence that people know who we are. And understand our vision. We have a very big vision. I don't know anyone in the cryptocurrency space that has as big a vision as us, to be honest. So, yeah.
What about some of the advisors that you guys have on board? What's their background look like? Or is that part of the general team as well?
Yeah. In ways they kind of mesh together. One of my advisors' name is Javad. He is an incredibly sharp businessman. He's around 70 some years old. He runs Bitcoin ATMs around the nation. So those are some of my personal advisors. And we're kind of open to, we haven't established our advisors firmly. We're kind of open to seeing, who wants to be there firmly. So I'd say I know a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on advisors, and maybe because they're not so familiar with the cryptocurrency space or something, but I know the cryptocurrency space well and have a big network. So I just kind of tap on people as I need them. And same with my team. And that's kind of how we've been functioning. We'll probably establish that more firmly as time goes on, and we know for sure who wants to be advising regularly, but I haven't observed that as a high priority. I'm a lot more focused on what we need to get done and who we, if we need help at the time, I think it's more about the team and advisors personally. But
so you guys are already up and running with this proof of work blockchain, obviously not an ICO. You've got or ASic resistant miners set up. Can you tell us about some of the, I guess, some of the barriers to entry to either mining, because you can go and you can buy this token on like Cryptopia and a few other exchanges already, correct?
yeah, I'll just mention too, there's an energy token, and we are not that. We are energy cryptocurrency. Look for us. It's NRG, the letter NRG is our symbol. We're not energy token, just so people don't get that mixed up. Which we were there first, and I communicated that to them, but they kept it as energy tokens or whatever. But yeah, you can buy us on Cryptopia. You can mine us. It's easy to mine. Barriers to entry, I don't know. We are a live blockchain. Yeah, we didn't do an ICO. I opted not to do an ICO because we didn't need one. I self-funded Energy to its creation, and then the whole point is, again, we're a self-funding cryptocurrency. So as long as there's demand for us, that's how we pay for we pay out our interest. It's a really, really smart system that still to this day, I'm surprised that more people don't understand the power of. To be honest, the biggest competitors that we have that have arisen in the past year are the likes of EOS, because they raised $4 billion. And if they're serious about utilizing that money, they can scale to a multi-thousand person organization relatively quickly. But I don't know if they have that ambition. We do, but we have to have our market cap grow, so we have the treasury to be able to pay for that. But that's the direction that we're headed in, and inevitably, that's the direction we'll go in. Yeah, barriers to entry, just jump on our website. You can find us on Cryptopia, CryptoBridge. We've got good support. You can jump on our Discord channel. We strive to help everyone we can within. We're constantly working to improve. So I wouldn't say there's many barriers to entry. It's pretty easy to use. The wallet's easy. We're on the Coinomi app as well, which is like an iPhone Android wallet. So even if you don't have a computer, you can get Energy on your phone.
Nice. You guys have your own standalone wallet for the desktop as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Do you want to? I know a lot of the people that I'm friends with that own good chunks of some of these tokens are huge fans of the Masternode idea, obviously, because this is a form of residual income to some degree. What about the barriers of entry to owning Masternode?
Yeah, great point. And that was actually another part of our cryptocurrency. So 40% of our coins go to treasury, 40% go to masternodes, which is the bulk of our coins right there. Masternodes require 10,000 coins, which currently our price is 30 cents, which is quite cheap. I would say, just my own thought, whatever, do what you want. But our market cap right now is like 1.5 million, and that's because we're just not known, sadly. We were getting born in a bear market. But a Masternode at the current price, 10,000 coins, is only about $3,000. So I wouldn't say that's a big barrier to entry. There's Masternode pool services too that you can also get on if you want to. I know they're out there, and we'll be encouraging those as well, so people can find them if they need to. But Masternodes are great, and because we didn't have a big ICO with all these coins issued out at the beginning, and we just started emitting coins like Bitcoin, we don't have a ton of coins out there. So our Masternodes have high rewards. It's currently at over 200% a year, which is a pretty big return. And even a year down the road, it should be over 100%. That's a great return. People who want to hold Energy, are getting a good dividend. You can compare that to like NEO with gas, and people love that. With NEO is the dividend you get with gas, and that's only like 20% or less. So they're really strong Masternode rewards. I did that on purpose in the design, because I wanted people to want to acquire masternodes. And that's part of our, again, like a dividend system and like a governance aspect. And we want to move to having a smart contract platform, which we're working on. So once we have those, I mean, that's the big value proposition in the space that people love, is smart contract platform with governance. That's the huge demand. Tezos raised $150 million for that last summer in their ICO, and you know, Cardano and all these other ones raised a ton of money. EOS exactly for that, $4 billion. So yeah, that's the direction we're moving into, but it's not just limited to that. I also see much more than that. You know, again, business development, operations, and again, truly something that can change the world from again, a very large organizational standpoint. Like imagine like an Apple or Microsoft. Those will exist in the cryptocurrency space within the next 10 years. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I think there's a lot more room for this stuff than people really recognize. I think that decentralization really calls, like Linux is a prime example of this sentiment, is that you're really looking for as many options as possible. And that's what creates the best outcome for the situation you would actually want to apply these Linux servers to. So Linux it runs almost everything in the background, but that's not the general user interface that people are used to, because it's not as simple. But that open source technology, the decentralization of that information too, is hugely valuable, because it means you get the best product from people that have built it all around the world and basically tried to rip these things apart. So I think it's smart. Obviously, not doing an ICO, the governance systems are super intelligent. The other idea there too is that the public sentiment can be very difficult trying to deal with it. Like EOS raising all this money, it just doesn't make any sense. Same with Tezos, it just doesn't make any sense. So I'm glad to hear you guys went down that way. I guess just so before we go too far, if anyone's interested in checking it out right now, it's ENERGI.WORLD. That's Energi.World. You can check out their white paper, their team. They've got their Telegram channel, the Twitter links, and as Tommy had said, he's got their YouTube channel up there as well. So if you guys want to dive in and look at any more of their information, do check those links out. They will be in the description below as well, but I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that before we go too much further. I guess while we're on that topic, is the YouTube channel that you guys are running, do you still plan on continuing to do that around energy? And is it more your channel specifically, or is it the company's channel?
yeah, great question. Well, I have my own YouTube channel, and I'll continue to make content, cryptocurrency and otherwise. So check me out if you want to. Again, TommyWorldPower on all social media, YouTube, Twitter and everything. Energy, we have our own YouTube channel for the organization, and we've got an amazing video series coming out very, very soon. One of the guys who, from my community, his name's Max. He's an incredible video director, and he made an awesome video series on energy. It kind of educates people on cryptocurrency throughout. It's very cool. I haven't seen any organizations make a video series like this. So you can go to our YouTube channel. It's on our webpage. Like if you go to the bottom, you see all the social media links, and on the home page as well, there's like a YouTube video that explains us very well. It's entertaining to watch. Like he's an amazing video director. So you guys can check that out, and that kind of expands upon what I'm talking about here. Yeah, absolutely. We intend on expanding in those avenues a lot. I think marketing is a smart idea. If every dollar we spend on marketing yields $2 or more of added value or whatever back to energy, then we have more money to spend and more marketing, more development, and it's a positive feedback loop. So you can see how it becomes incredibly powerful. And that's what I saw. And I just saw, again, I saw and I've seen these other projects, just they're not aware of that, and they're not taking it as seriously as they should be, because it's a massive opportunity. And for those of us who do capitalize on it, it's sooner or later will pay off. So, and there's so much money that goes in the cryptocurrency space. Again, $4 billion for ICO. I think Telegram raised like multi-billion dollars for their ICO too. It's just nuts. People just, I'm in a lot of groups, and I know what goes on in the ICO times in the past year. I was very close to the action with a lot of prominent players and groups, and you just see the money being thrown. So actually it's hilarious, it was like, I don't know if you were paying attention to the ICO times, but projects would come out like left and right, and people don't have time to research them. They're just like yeah, that sounds good. Like 5 minutes of research and here's like 100 grand or more, you know, like without even, because you just have to get on the boat, right? And that happened a lot. And hilariously enough, that worked a lot of the time too. It's like you get a 5 times return on your money for doing that. I'm not advocating that or anything. Okay, so I'm just relaying my experience. But the ICO times were wild, and I'm sure the next bubble, when it happens in a couple of years, is going to be even crazier. But the point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of money that flows into the space. So, so yeah.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. You know, as well as Dash has been using their treasury system, the people that are in the masternodes that are voting don't seem to have the business sense that you'd actually want. So it seems like governance has always been difficult in that sense, that democracy or some type of voting system isn't always the best place to go, because we know that the average intelligence is actually lower than you would prefer, which can be devastating if you're voting for dumb ideas. Again, purports the wild speculation into companies with very little research or very little team build or whatever, and all these big raises. So I think it makes a lot of sense. The marketing and advertising is one of the most overlooked aspects in this space, because the majority of the people think that this is about tech, and it's not. It's not about tech. It's about people, and it's about the social impact that these types of tech can have on people. And until they realize that, they're never going to, like, mass adoption isn't going to come when people like Roger Ver and Jimmy Song are making fools of themselves. It's like, okay, well, guys, this is not about an argument of tech. This is an industry of social impact. That's the biggest underlying factor here, I think, that a lot of people overlook. And the best way to do that is through very strategic marketing and advertising.
That's very well said, and you're absolutely right. And I will say I have a lot of love for Dash. You know, they were the first one with the treasury system, so I'm very grateful to them. But I will mention, you know, one of the things that got me into this was I saw Dash had like a $500,000 proposal pass for air shows for marketing, and it passed. Lots of love to the guy. I'm sure he meant well and everything like that. But just making a point that if you're doing marketing, that's not how you do marketing.
Mm-hmm.
You have a test market, you experiment with a budget, say $5,000. You observe the results. You do that with 10 different marketing campaigns, for example, and you determine what's yielding you the highest return on investment, and then you really expand that. These are strategies that go into marketing that, as you said, this kind of free for all type proposal thing is not effective. And so that brings up a very important point that a lot of people in the cryptocurrency space, this is kind of a big concept, but I think about this stuff, is a lot of people are about centralization and decentralization. But what they don't understand is centralization is actually okay. Let me explain that. When you go to In-N-Out, which is a great hamburger chain in the US, obviously most people love In-N-Out, but it's a centralized company. People go to it, they like it. There's nothing wrong with it being centralized. What there's a problem is when things are monopolized. And that's exactly the problem. The US dollar, the euro, all these currencies are monopolized. Competition was not allowed. And that's the problem. When you have a hamburger joint and you have the choice of a bunch of different hamburger joints, it doesn't matter that they're centralized with their own leadership within them. What matters is that you have the ability to choose. And that's the future of cryptocurrency that I see. So the decentralization creates that foundation that we can always fall back on. It's like they can never take that away from us. And so we've created that foundation with cryptocurrency. Now that we have that, we can have organizations with leadership that know what they're doing to move it in the direction. And inevitably, people will trust the leaders of the organization. And every cryptocurrency has leaders too. You know, like Ethereum is, you know, kind of around Vitalik and his crew. And Bitcoin hovers around the core developers, you know. Every cryptocurrency is actually centralized to a degree, whatever people say or not, it's a reality. But leadership is important. They have to be guided correctly, and that's a huge point. If there's no leadership and guidance, then they kind of do nothing. A great example of that is Dogecoin. Dogecoin had the second biggest community. Most of you probably don't know this, but had the second biggest community behind Bitcoin in the surge in like 2014, and it stayed up there. But there's no leadership. They don't want to do anything. There's no one to take the charge and do something with it. So it just stagnated completely. I love, you know, Dogecoin too, again, but just a powerful example of something that had so much potential with a massive community, but did nothing because of no leadership guidance. So
Yeah. There's a few really key points there. The decentralization aspect that I just don't think people recognize that that's like a concept. It's not just a particular, like when I was talking about YouTube being decentralized, and although it's a centralized source of where the information is coming from, it's made it cheap enough that I can produce content and get it to hundreds of thousands of people. That's decentralization of power. That gives me the same power that a media company used to have that I would have never been able to acquire myself. So even though there is a centralized source for the distribution of that information, and it has its downsides, it's still the most effective way to garner that much attention and be able to afford to do something that we never could have done as individuals just a few short years ago.
yeah, absolutely. And that's the power of cryptocurrency that many people in the status quo governments and organizations aren't aware of, and they're not going to feel till it flips it on its head. It's not like the media companies knew that they were going to lose all their power to like YouTube and, other sources of media like ourselves. It's only till it happens that, and they're like, okay, well, we don't really have that much power over this anymore. And that trend will continue. Cryptocurrency will create trends like that very powerfully as well.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
absolutely. I think there's a few. It's just great to pay attention, I think, to the concept, because it's probably one of the most valuable underlying aspects of what's taking place, and you can't really remove that once it starts. And Andy Warhol had a great quote. It says, "I know that I'm drinking the same Coca-Cola that the Queen drinks." And there's a time when product technology is so deflated that no matter what you're getting, it's as good as whatever the president has, or it's as good as what the Queen has. And that's really where we're getting to, is that technology is creating like almost an even playing field for anyone to access or share information, and it's hugely valuable in every space. So to see it happen in cryptocurrency, especially in the monetary system, because there's so much friction, it's extremely exciting. So what are there anything? Well, leave us with some of the thoughts that you think the listeners should know about energy, and because we've got our last few questions here.
Sure. I would just encourage you guys to explore the potential of cryptocurrency. I mean, again, the future I see, I would love for you guys to be aware of and see the competition that we have for now currency, which cryptocurrencies created, is essentially competition for government. And just imagine these massive organizations, self-funded. I mean, again, EOS raised billions of dollars, but it's going to be even way more powerful than that. These organizations will spend billions of dollars per year. Imagine how that's going to change the world. Again, that can include hiring lobbyists, controlling, influencing established governments, and again, people will have a choice on the currency they want to use. When you go to pay for something in 10 years from now, or probably sooner, you won't have to use the US dollar. You'll be able to use whatever currency you want. And the reason why I called it energy is because money is just energy. Money is a form of energy. Energy is more expansive than that as well. But you're empowering those currencies you use. Where you put your energy, you empower. And so that's what I want you guys to think about: money as energy, and understanding when you have a choice, you can empower that currency which you use. And that's where the world is going.
Yeah.
So.
Very, very, very quickly. I don't think I've been pondering the implications, and we can leave this for, maybe we'll include a little bit of this right now, but the implications of AI that's likely going to be significantly smarter than every human on the planet within the next few years. The type of system that we're moving into now requires an equalization of the economic energy, right? So the communicating of value, just like we're doing now, is so important, but drastically undervalued at the moment, because we have this currency in place, like the US dollar, that has no value. So we've been trying to value everything in the longest time for something that's completely worthless, and it's thrown all of our like core values off. So I see a great deal of change coming in the future as well. I think it makes a lot of sense to do your due diligence and your homework now, because well, first off, none of this is investment advice, but the changes that we'll see in the economic infrastructure are mind bending, like uncomprehensible to where we'll be in the next 30 years.
Indeed. I actually remembered I wanted to talk to you about that stuff because I think we have a lot of shared ideas on the future, like AI, singularity, perhaps just computers getting way stronger than humans in terms of thinking and productivity, which I think will happen, as you said, in the next 20 or 30 years. But yeah, anyway, maybe we'll talk about that and another conversation, but I 100% agree. Yeah. And of course they'll be using a cryptocurrency type, you know, um, currency, and they're not going to rely on getting approval from any humans. You know, they're going to make their own decisions, fund whatever they're doing, and do it on their own without asking for permission. And I think it's a positive. I think they can do it in a positive way. I don't have a mindset of fear about it that maybe some people do. I think it'll be positive. That's my perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the day the internet started in the realms of DARPA, it changed everything. Now, regardless of if everyone noticed that that's the day it changed, this same thing I think happened with Bitcoin and the decentralization of this communication of energy, is that we've already altered the future of governments and banks to the point where they will no longer exist because we don't need them. They've been acting as parasites on the planet for quite some time. So it's extremely exciting. We'll make sure we have you back soon, Tommy. We will have all the links for Energi.World underneath. We'll have the Telegram channel, links to Tommy's website as well, the Telegram channels, all that fun stuff. If you guys want, I'm sure you can reach out to them via email too, which will be at the bottom. If you've got any questions, please leave those down below. We do our best to answer them and direct everyone as best as we can. If you like this content, give us those thumbs up. If you're new to the Bear family, please subscribe, and remember to double check on the Energi.World website. This is a sponsored review, so just as always, it goes along with absolutely everything I say. None of this is an investment advice. This is strictly for information and educational purpose only. We like to provide a platform that just opens up more communication. That way, it makes it easier for you guys to do your own due diligence as well as create your own form of critical thinking. So, Tommy, thank you for joining us a bunch today. Is there anywhere else we should send the Bear family to take a look at where they can find you guys?
Much appreciated. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you. If you would put a link to my YouTube channel as well, so if people want to check me out or anything like that, they can find me. You can learn more about me and look back at the videos I've been making of cryptocurrency for quite a while. But yeah, other than that, I think you nailed it, and I appreciate it. Yeah, I look forward to catching you again.
Yeah, hopefully we'll meet up again soon. Again, I think to preface this idea, I think that a lot of companies are overlooking the importance of community building, branding, and most importantly, marketing and advertising. We've moved into a day and age where product is almost unimportant in comparison with your real brand and community. So I think if you guys can nail that, like for instance, Red Bull is spending $3 billion a year on making really cool videos, but Red Bull doesn't necessarily even have a product. Their product is their brand. And that's, I think, the first companies that really start to recognize and exalt themselves on that particular portion of the platform will succeed immensely, because the community is the value in everything that we're doing. Everyone in the Bear family, and everyone out in the world, you are the most important part about why this stuff all works. Don't forget that. Without you, decentralization doesn't work. So it's an empowering feeling to know that as we make the right steps, this changes everything.
Very well said.
Nice, Tommy. We'll catch up again soon, and we'll make sure we share all that information. You guys as well. We'll post the article that we wrote down below too. So Bear family, thank you all for joining us today. This is Tio with the Arcane Bear, and we're signing off for the rest of the day, and we'll see you guys on the other side.